Okay, what was we suspected all along? Kevin Stefanski said he was going to name a starter today, and he did. And just like Ocho and I surmised, it's Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old. We're making his first week one start since 2022 when he's with the Jets. TBD on the rest of the depth chart. Kenny Pickett has not played since he tweaked that hamstring. Dillon Gabriel got the start on Saturday. Shedeur did not play because of an oblique injury. He started the first regular season.
Joe Flacco just got handed the keys to Cleveland, but behind closed doors, whispers are getting louder. The 40-year-old veteran thinks he's secured his spot, but Shedeur Sanders didn't come to Cleveland to sit on the bench forever. While Flacco celebrates his Week 1 starter announcement, according to NFL.com and ESPN, the Browns' quarterback competition has been anything but settled, and Sanders is already making moves that have coaches questioning if they made the right call. This isn't just about a rookie waiting his turn. This is about a Sanders who's been groomed for this moment his entire life, and an injury that might have actually worked in his favor more than anyone realizes.
Preseason game, and Tyler Snoop Hundley is also on the list. Adam Schefter said this morning, I expect the Cleveland Browns to carry 4 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster. Wow. That doesn't normally happen. It's just, I think they're afraid that if they let one of these guys go, somebody's going to snatch them up. You'd probably like to cut them and then have them come back on the practice squad, but they don't feel they can do that. They feel that if they were to release Gabriel.
Look, we all saw this coming from a mile away. Kevin Stefanski announced Joe Flacco as the Week 1 starter, and yeah, on paper it makes sense. The guy's got experience. He's been in the league longer than some of these rookies have been alive. But here's what nobody's talking about. This decision wasn't made because Flacco dominated camp. It was made because everyone else got hurt or couldn't stay healthy long enough to prove themselves. Think about it. Kenny Pickett? Been nursing that hamstring injury for weeks now. Dillon Gabriel got his shot and looked decent, but let's be real. Decent doesn't win you starting jobs in the NFL. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, sitting there with an oblique injury, watching all of this unfold. But if you think that injury slowed him down mentally, you don't know Shedeur Sanders. Here's where it gets interesting. Adam Schefter dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. The Browns are planning to carry 4 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster. 4. When's the last time you saw that? Teams don't do that unless they're completely unsure about what they have, or unless they know something big is brewing behind the scenes.
And we'll see how that works out. But I don't think we're surprised. I don't think any of you are surprised that Joe Flacco was named the starter. You look at Kenny Pickett, he has not been able to do anything, any team drills, since he tweaked that hamstring early in training camp. Obviously, Dillon Gabriel was nicked the first for about 10, 11 days. Then he came back. Shedeur played really well the first game. Then he got an oblique injury. He was out. And then Dillon Gabriel took it over, and then he played fairly well. I mean, he had a pick, but I don't think either guy did anything since. Look.
The writing was on the wall during that first preseason game. Shedeur came out looking like he belonged, showing that Sanders swagger we've all come to know. Then boom, oblique injury. But here's the thing about Shedeur that separates him from every other rookie quarterback. He doesn't just physically prepare, he mentally dissects every single play, every single decision his competitors make. While Joe Flacco was getting first team reps, Shedeur was on the sideline, studying. While Dillon Gabriel was trying to prove himself worthy of the starting spot, Shedeur was taking mental notes on every mistake, every missed opportunity. This isn't just some rookie learning the ropes. This is a chess player watching his opponents make moves, waiting for his moment to strike, and that moment is coming faster than anyone thinks. Sources close to the Browns organization are saying that Shedeur's recovery from that oblique injury has been ahead of schedule. We're talking about a guy who's been dealing with pressure his entire life, who's had cameras on him since high school, who's learned from one of the greatest coaches in college football history. You think a little injury is going to derail his NFL dreams? The Browns didn't draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round to sit him on the bench for 4 years. They drafted him because they saw something special, something that reminded them of those elite quarterbacks who can change a franchise overnight. And right now, while Joe Flacco is getting all the headlines as the starter, Shedeur is quietly positioning himself to be the story everyone's talking about by week 4. Here's what the experts aren't telling you. Shedeur's arm talent was never the question. His football IQ was never the question. The only question was whether he could handle the speed and complexity of the NFL game. But guess what? He's had months to study this system, months to understand how Stefanski wants to run this offense. And unlike the other quarterbacks who've been battling injuries or inconsistency, Shedeur has been able to focus purely on the mental side of the game. Let's talk about what happened in that first preseason game before the injury. Shedeur didn't just look competent, he looked comfortable. He was making reads that some veteran quarterbacks struggle with. He was showing pocket presence that you usually don't see from rookies. And then that injury hit, and everyone assumed it was a setback. But what if I told you it might have been exactly what he needed? Think about it from Shedeur's perspective. He came into camp with all eyes on him, pressure to immediately compete with veteran quarterbacks, expectations to be perfect from day one. That injury forced him to slow down, to watch, to learn without the pressure of having to perform. It gave him the chance to see how Joe Flacco handles the huddle, how he communicates with receivers, how he manages the game. But more importantly, it showed him where the weaknesses are. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. His arm isn't what it used to be, his mobility is limited, and let's be honest, he's a bridge quarterback, not the future of this franchise. The Browns know it, Stefanski knows it, and deep down, Flacco probably knows it too. The Browns are carrying 4 quarterbacks because they're not confident in their starter. They're keeping Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders around because they know one of them is going to be needed sooner rather than later. And between those two, who do you think has the higher ceiling? Who do you think has the arm talent, the football IQ, and the championship mentality to take this franchise to the next level? During those practice sessions where tensions have been running high, where coaches have been frustrated with inconsistent play, Shedeur has been the calm presence watching everything unfold. He's seen Kenny Pickett struggle to stay healthy. He's watched Dillon Gabriel make rookie mistakes under pressure, and he's observed Joe Flacco managing games without truly elevating the offense. All of this has been feeding into Shedeur's preparation for his moment. Because make no mistake, his moment is coming. The Browns didn't invest a draft pick in him to let him sit for years. They didn't bring in 4 quarterbacks because they're happy with their current situation. They did it because they know changes are coming, and they want to be ready when they happen. Here's where the story gets really interesting. Word around the Browns facility is that Shedeur has been putting in extra work with the coaching staff, studying film at hours when the building is practically empty. This isn't just a rookie trying to learn the playbook. This is a future franchise quarterback positioning himself to be ready when opportunity knocks. And opportunity always knocks faster than people expect in the NFL. Joe Flacco might be the Week 1 starter, but how long do you think that lasts if the Browns start 0-2 or 1-3? How long before the fans start calling for change? How long before Stefanski realizes that his 40-year-old quarterback isn't the answer to their championship aspirations? The Browns have been starving for a franchise quarterback for decades. They've tried veterans, they've tried draft picks, they've tried everything. But Shedeur Sanders represents something different. He represents the possibility of stability at the most important position in sports. He represents the chance to build something sustainable, something that can compete in a division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Right now, while everyone's focused on Joe Flacco getting the starting job, Shedeur is quietly preparing for his NFL debut. He's studying defensive coordinators around the league. He's working on his timing with receivers during practice. He's building relationships with the offensive line. All the things that separate good quarterbacks from great ones. And here's the kicker. Shedeur has been dealing with pressure and expectations his entire football career. The bright lights, the big moments, the criticism and praise, none of that is new to him. Joe Flacco might have the experience, but Shedeur has the mentality of someone who's been preparing for this level his entire life. The Browns coaching staff sees it too. They see how Shedeur carries himself in meetings, how he asks the right questions, how he processes information. They see a quarterback who doesn't just want to play in the NFL, he wants to dominate it. And that kind of hunger, that kind of drive, it's infectious to while Joe Flacco is enjoying his moment as the named starter, while he's getting ready for what might be his last chance to prove he can still play at this level, Shedeur Sanders is preparing for what could be the beginning of a legendary NFL career. The injury that sidelined him might have actually been a blessing in disguise, giving him time to prepare mentally and physically for the moment when Cleveland realizes what they really have in their fifth-round draft pick. The Browns didn't just draft a quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, they drafted their future. And that future is closer than anyone realizes. Joe Flacco better make the most of his opportunity, because Shedeur Sanders isn't planning on waiting much longer to show the world what he can do. This is the calm before the storm, and when that storm hits, it's going to change everything in Cleveland. The question isn't if Shedeur will get his shot, it's when and how spectacular he'll be when that moment arrives. What do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders ready to take over the Browns' quarterback position sooner than expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insider NFL analysis that you won't find anywhere else. Because this story is just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in Cleveland.